Hey guys, MC here today, and I'm doing a Fluffal deck profile. So let's get started, shall we? Alright. So the first card I got here is Fluffal Rabbit, because when you fusion summon with Fluffal Rabbit, uh, you can target one Edgem Saber monster in your graveyard and add it back to your hand. So that's pretty good for fuck recursion for getting cards back in your hand to do more fusion summons. So the next card we got here is Fluffal Cat. Fluffal Cat's pretty good because it pretty much does the same thing as Fluffal fucking Rabbit, but instead of getting a monster back, you get polymerization back. So that's really good. Go into more polymerization plays or fusion plays, I guess would sound better. So the next card I got here is Fluffal Wings. Fluffal Wings is really good too because pretty much like let's say you start your hand with Bear and Wings, and then you use Bear's effect to go into Toy Vendor, and then you use Toy Vendor's effect to pitch Wings to the graveyard, and then you use Wings effect, to banish Bear from the graveyard, and then you can draw two cards, and then it also pops Toy Vendor, so then you can get another search from your deck. So that's really good. It's pretty much like the Stratos, just kind of like dog, pretty much. So that's really good. So the next one I got here is Fluffal Octopus. And I can't really remember what this one does. Let's see. It's got a really long effect. You can target one Fluffal or Edgent monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand when it's normal or special summoned. Uh, and if it's sent to the graveyard as fusion material for a fusion summon of a Frightful monster, you can target up to two of your banished monsters and return them to the graveyard. So that's pretty good. You can use that once per turn. So that's really good. The next card I got here is Sheep. And Sheep's pretty good because you can special summon it from your hand, but you can also return one of the Fluffal monsters from your from your field to your hand, and special summon one Edgent monster from your hand or graveyard. So it's really good in case you needed to get one back, and then use it for fusion summon or whatnot. So that's really good. And then I got Owl here. I was thinking I might add Owl up to 2, because Owl's effect is really good. When you normal summon it, you can get a poly from your hand or from your deck to your hand, or if you're out of polys in probably a pretty rare situation, then you can just pay 500 life points and fusion summon using Owl's effect. So that's really good. Owl's really good, so I might bump it up to 2. I'm just kind of testing the deck still, so like I do pretty much all my decks. So there's always stuff you can change. All right, so the next one I got is Bear. I play that at 3. I might bump that down to 2, and then like I said, put Owl at 2. So then I have 2 and 2 of that. But Bear's really good. You can send it to the graveyard to put Toy Vendor on the field, and then you can also if you can normal summon him and then tribute it for a poly, or get a poly from your graveyard. But I don't know, like you don't always want to waste your normal summon that way. But I guess if you have a lot of good monsters in your hand, it doesn't really matter. But I don't really use that effect too often. But you can it's there if you need it. So the next one I got is Edge of Sabers. You can fusion summon with him to go into Tiger. He does also have the effect where you can, what the fuck was it? I believe you can, if it's in your graveyard, you can place one card from your hand at the top of your deck and then special summon it in defense position, which is really good. I almost never use that effect, but that one's also there. Sometimes you might need that, really, but I don't use it very often. So the next one I got is King of the Swamps. It's kind of the bread and butter of the deck, really. You can pitch it to get a poly to your hand, and then it's fusion material, or it's a fusion substitute. If I ran fusion substitute in this deck, but no, I'm just joking. But yeah, it's fusion substitute, so you can use it to go into any of your Frightful monsters. So that's really good. Yeah, and the art on that I've always thought looked pretty sweet too. It's crazy. So the next card I got is Edge of Chain. I wish this one was searchable, but it's not, so that sucks. Hopefully one day we'll get patchwork, but who knows when that will happen. So yeah, he's good. You can go into freaking Sheep. Sheep is probably one of my favorite ones to go into. It's pretty much like an Ancient Gear Soldier, except with higher attack points, so it's really good. It's funny, I actually had I was playing online against somebody, and they summoned Neospatian Grand Mole and tried to attack into it to get my sheep off the field, but I guess they didn't think about its effect of it's like Ancient Gear effect, because I'm pretty sure sheep's effect works a little better, because I believe with sheep you can't activate any cards or effects. Let me double check here. Yeah, if it battles, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects until the end of the damage step. Yep. So, but he attacked me with his not Ancient Gear, with his Neospatian Grand Mole, thinking he would pop that off the field, but his effect didn't activate because he was battling Ancient Gear Sheep, and then he lost like 2,000 life points, and then I think he just surrendered after that or something. But yeah, it's really good. People sometimes, I guess, don't think about the effect of Ancient Gear Sheep, and that stuff happens, so that's pretty fun. So the next one here I got is Fluffal Penguin. Fluffal Penguin is really good because you can, if you have it on the field, you can special summon a Fluffal monster from your hand, and you can only use that effect once while it's face up on the field. But let's see, what was this other effect? I'm just kind of building this deck with like newish Fluffal monsters that I haven't used before. If this card is sent to the graveyard as fusion material for fusion summon, forever monster. Oh yeah, if it's sent to the graveyard for fusion material, or as fusion material for a fright for monster, you can draw 2 cards and discard 1. And that's actually really good. So you could actually get a good card in the graveyard that way to go into fright for fusion if you needed to. Actually, you probably could do it that way. But yeah, so that's really handy. And then you also have like another card. That effect is really good, I think. But yeah, the next one we got is like the Stratos of the deck, Fluffal Dog. Your highest attacking monster in the deck, well, besides your fusion monsters, but it's a pretty cool dog. I guess. I don't know why I said that. But yeah, your Stratos of the deck, you can search any of your pretty much any monster in the deck except Edge and Chain, which really sucks. But yeah, pretty much everything else, and so that's really good. And he's got a 17 body if you needed to use him that way. I mean, I have before, so sometimes it comes in play. All right, so the next one we got is Polymerization, because that's your only extra deck mechanic in this deck, pretty much. So, I mean, the main extra deck mechanic. All right, so you know what it does? You fusion summon monsters. That's all it does. All right, so the next one, and actually, I do want to say, I don't play Fusion Substitute in this. I think I might have already said that in the beginning of this video, because I like to fusion summon from my hand, and with Fusion Substitute, you can only fusion summon from the field. I mean, I know you get to, I think the effect was draw a card. I don't know, because I don't exactly play it after you fusion summon or something like that, but I'm fusion summoning from my hand a lot more than I'm having cards on the field, because like second turn, or if you're going like second, starting out the duel, and you don't exactly, maybe you don't want to summon cards on the field, maybe you don't have like dog or something in your hand to summon to get a search. So a lot of the time I'll just poly from my hand and then just fusion summon with monsters in my hand, so it's really handy. So I most of the time do stuff like that. The next we got is Toy Vendor, because if it gets popped by anything, and I feel like for me the case is a lot of people, your opponent will just like pop this because they won't really read it or know what it does. They're just like, oh well, it's probably doing good stuff for them on the field there. When you pitch cards to, you could possibly special summon if you draw a full monster, right? So that's pretty good, but a lot of time they'll just like think that's like all it does, or they won't read it right or something like that, and they'll pop it with like MST or Twin Twisters, and then boom, you get a free search from the deck. So that's really handy. I don't know why most people just don't read it. Maybe they just, I don't know. They probably just think they get the gist of it or something like that. I don't know. So the next card we got is Fright for Fusion. Fright for Fusion's good because you just fusion summon from cards in the deck, or not in the deck, sorry, in the graveyard, or I think it's on the field too actually. And I haven't read this card text in a while. Fusion summon Fright for Fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing fusion materials listed on the field or in the graveyard. Yep. So that's really good. I usually don't have it where my graveyard's like completely full with cards like that, but it does come in handy. Um, because a lot of the time I'll have like, I think my ideal field is have like one, at least one other Fright for Monster, and then have uh, Fright for Sabretooth and Fright for Sheep. Because that's probably like the best ones I like to have on the field. Um, so there's that. And then the next card I got here is Dark Hole. Because like I said, if you have like my ideal field with Fright for Sheep and Fright for Sabretooth, you can activate Dark Hole, and then it won't do anything to Fright for Sabretooth, and then it will destroy Sheep, but you know you can bring him back with 800 more attack points, so it's not really that bad. I like to use it like that a lot. So next card I got is Instant Fusion, because you can Instant Fusion into Sheep, and then fusion some with cards from your hand to go into Sabretooth, so that's really good. So I'll do that sometimes. Well, actually, it comes in handy a lot of the time, I should say. Another card I might just put in the extra deck, just like, because sometimes I actually have it in a lot of my other decks, is Thousand Eyes Restrict, because you can instant fusion into Thousand Eyes Restrict and then just take one of your opponent's monsters if it can't be destroyed by card effects or something like that. Because then it will be on your side of the field, and then after Thousand Eyes Restrict blows up at the end of the turn, it just takes that monster with it. So like, it doesn't really matter if it can't be destroyed by card effects, because boom, it's gone in that instance. So, but a lot of time, yeah, I'll go into Sheep and then fusion summon into Sabretooth and then get Sheep back. So that's really good. So next one I got is Reasoning. Reasoning's really good. You know, you activate it and special summon one card from your deck if they call one card that can be normal summoned or set if they call the wrong number or whatever, or the wrong level, I should say. But it seems like in this deck they do a lot, because especially if you do it on turn 1, so they don't know what you're playing yet, and a lot of time they'll probably call like 5 or 6 or something like that. Or if they don't, which it seems like a lot of people online like don't understand what Reasoning does or something, because they'll always go like level 10 or something like that with most decks I play. So it's handy in that way, because they either don't understand the card or they just don't read it right. So that's pretty good. So the next card I got here is White Veil. You don't really need White Veil in here, but since you already have Sheep, but White Veil is pretty good. I like to attach it onto Sabretooth, and then let me read the card text here. It's got a kind of a long card text. I don't know if you guys want to pause the video and look at it real quick. I don't know if that's really out of focus or anything, but there's that. And so I'm gonna read it right here. So it's pretty much kind of like Sheep, but better, but it does have kind of a bad downside. So when the equipped monster battles, your opponent cannot activate any spell or trap cards until the end of the damage step. When an attack is declared involving the equipped monster, face-up spell and trap cards your opponent controls have their effects negated until the end of the damage step, even if this card leaves the field. When the equipped monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can destroy all spell and trap cards your opponent controls. But the downside, here's the downside, guys. When this face-up card in a player's spell and trap card zone leaves the field, that player takes 3,000 damage. So if you're not doing so well in the duel, it could like just end the game for you, which is which would not be good. So that is the downside. That's why I only play one of them. But the upside is pretty good still. But you know, you still gotta watch out for that downside. So the next card I got is Mystical Space Typhoon. I would play Twin Twisters in this, but I don't. Well, all my Twin Twisters are in other decks right now. So you know, that's kind of all I got. And you guys, I'm sure, know what it does. Destroy one spell and trap card on the field. So that's pretty good. And I played at 3, but you know, you also have Tiger in the deck, and he can pop cards. So 3's, you know, pretty good, I think. Plus, it's not really ever bad to see one in your hand. So you know. All right. So the next one we got is Mirror Force. This would be a Storm Mirror Force if I had another one. I do have this one, but all my other ones are tied up in other decks. So you know, that's what I got. And you know, Mirror Force destroys stuff, and then when people attack and destroy Mirror Force, it sends all their cards back to the hand, or the extra deck if they're an extra deck monster. So that's really handy when that happens. So the next one I got here is Fiendish Chain. Really good, you know, negate the effects of one of your opponent's monsters. Really nice to get one of their smaller monsters when they're trying to like special summon a bigger monster with a smaller monster, or I don't know, go into whatever kind of play, just negate their effects. So the next one I got is Fusion Reserve, because you can get a poly and a fusion material you used back. You know, so it's good to get that stuff back to your hand to have recursion. So that's pretty good. So that's actually it for the main deck here, guys. And right here I got next is the extra deck. Well, I mean, of course it is. Like, why would I have anything else? But, so, first one I got is Fluffal Bear, or not Fluffal Bear, Fright for Bear. I don't really like to go into him very often. I don't like, there we go. It's kind of a glare with that sleeve. But, I don't like to go into him too often because, all he does is when you attack an opponent's monster, and destroy it, he gets to equip that monster as like a spell card or a equip spell, and he gains 1,000 attack. That's all he really does. I'm pretty sure you can actually keep equipping cards to him, but so he can get pretty beefy. But I just don't really like to go into him that often. I think a lot of the other ones you can go into are better, so I don't really use him too often. But he's there, you know, if you need him. All right. So the next one I got here is 2 Fright for Wolf. Wolf is good because he can attack as many times as the fusion materials you use to summon him, like each turn. So if you clear your opponent's like spell and trap card zone and they don't have any like too strong monsters, you can just go for an OTK. Just boom, they're done. So that's pretty good because you could attack like 4 times, you know, and then you could just destroy him. So that's really good. All right, the next one I got is Fright for Kraken. Kraken's got to be like probably one of my favorite ones because, well, let me like tell you his effect here. So once per turn, you can target one monster your opponent controls and just send it to the graveyard. You're not destroying it or anything. You're just sending it to the graveyard. So that's really good to get with like, or get rid of like annoying strong monsters like beals or something like that. I don't really think too many people play beals anymore, but I'm sure some people do. So, but you can just get rid of annoying monsters that can't be destroyed by card effects and stuff. So that's really handy. And then it can also attack twice per turn. I know it's only got 2,200 attack, but that's still not too bad if, like, I don't know, if your opponent doesn't have, like, big monsters for it to deal with or anything. You can just destroy the small ones. And then, well, and if you had already gotten rid of the other monster or whatever. But it actually can attack the turn you use that effect. But what was I going to say with the other one? Yeah, it can attack twice during the battle phase, and then afterwards it goes into defense position. It has a 3k defense, which is pretty good, so you can use that too. So the next one, probably one of my favorite ones to go into, is Fright for Sabretooth. I got 2 of him in the deck. You know, he can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. That's really handy. He can still be targeted, so you can still get him with compulse and stuff, but or like Fiendish Chain him and all that. But I don't know. I don't think too many people play compulse anymore, and I think people more likely play probably Fogblade rather than Fiendish Chain now, and like me, I kind of play Lost Wind, but I do actually have Fiendish Chain in this deck, as I showed you guys, so, I mean, you could use that against him, so, but he's really good. And then, I can't remember what it is, yeah, all Fright for monsters you control also gain 400 attack, so that's really good with this card too. So he's automatically at like 2,800, so that's really nice. Alright, so the next one I got is 3 Fright for Tiger. Fright for Tiger is really good. You know, you can summon him and pop as many cards as you use for fusion materials for him. And then I can't remember what his attack boost was. Let me read it here real quick. You can target cards on the field open up with fusion materials for its summon. All Fright for monsters you control gain 300 attack for each Fluffal monster and Fright for monster you control. So you can, if you get him on the field and you have like a bunch of other like Fluffal or Fright for monsters, you can make him get pretty beefy, as well as your other ones. So he's really good in the deck. I know like his base is like 1,900, but you can get a lot stronger than that. So that's pretty good. Plus, you can pop like all their spell and trap cards, all their like annoying monsters with him if you use like a bunch of cards to fusion summon him. So that's really good too. All right, so the next card I got, and the last card I got, is Fright for Sheep. Like I said, he's one of my favorites too. Oh shit! Because you can He's pretty much like a ancient gear soldier, pretty much. So, and like I told you, like that story, he freaking destroyed Neospatian Grand Mole. So that's like pretty good. Your opponent can't activate any cards or effects until the end of the damage step. So really handy. They couldn't even use a Sphere Karibo on you if they had one. I don't know if anyone really plays that outside of like Duel Links, but so that's gonna be my deck profile today, guys. Please like and subscribe, and have a great day.